To open up Apple Classroom for your particular class, click on that class and you'll be taken into the app itself, and the app will look like this. So you've got an area here where the iPads are displayed, and it won't be iPad 1, iPad 2, iPad 3, etc. It will have the same names that are displayed in Teams. And here you have what I call the information panel. And this is where you will see the number of students in your group, and you'll also get a breakdown of the different apps that are being used when students start to use them. And you can see that just at the side here. If this isn't shown, then there is a little button up here, and you can just toggle between having a full screen or having the information pane. I like the information pane because also when I start to create groups, I can see the groups down here. This is the kind of classic setup for the iPads. So they are just an icon with various apps that are being displayed, or underneath them you'll see if they're on the home screen. If you actually want to get a view of what the iPad is actually doing, if you go up to this little tool at the top here, the 4 circles, and click on the 4 circles, you can just move between seeing what's happening on the screen as it happens, and you can just see the icon view just here. So just to quickly take you through where the various things are located, like I've said before, by clicking on this you're able to move between the information pane or a full display, and by clicking on the 4 circles you're able to display what's on the iPad or just an icon view. The 3 dots will allow you to lock, hide or mute iPads within your class, and you also have the option to end the class, which I'll come on to right at the very end of the session. Ignore, invite and remove, because you won't have the ability to do those. Along here we can see a compass, and that allows you in this instance to navigate students to a web page that you may have saved in your favorites. We're not using books, so it will be a web page that you might have saved in Safari. And then coming across to this one, which looks like a stack of books, gives you the ability to open up specific apps on the student devices. So as you can see from this scenario, we've got a student whose iPad is offline, and if I toggle between the icon view and the normal view, you'll see that they're offline. And this may well happen when you open up Apple Classroom with the children in front of you. There are possible reasons for this. One, they're not there, so therefore they're going to be offline. The other one could be that they haven't got their Bluetooth turned on, or they're not connected to the right Wi-Fi. They need to be connected to iOS students. So you need to go and speak to them and say, look, is your Wi-Fi on the correct one, iOS students, and have you turned your Bluetooth on? And once they've done this, it should then come back online. So if I just wait for that to happen, toggle in between various screens, and now you can see, here it goes, now back on, Bluetooth back on, and they're on the correct setting. Just before we move on, we can do the controls for the whole class, but we can also do controls for individuals or for groups. I'll take you through groups a little later, but to control an individual, it's just a matter of selecting that iPad, and then you will see the controls that you're able to do there. So you can lock them out, or you can force an app to open. To lock student devices, I need to select the 3 dots and click lock. Devices are now locked and students won't be able to use them. If I want students to be able to use their iPads after I've had a conversation with them, or if I have done a long explanation, I just need to go back up and I need to select unlock. I'm also able to use the 3 dots to hide apps that might be open. I could perhaps do this if I wanted to quickly get in the attention of the class. So to hide the apps, I just click hide, and then all the apps that are on the students are using will be hidden. They'll still be open, they won't lose any work, but you'll get them back to the home screen. The other thing I can do up here is I can mute students, and that could be if they're using PowerPoint or something that is making noise, and I don't want that to happen. Moving on, if I go across to the compass, at the compass I'm able to navigate students to a particular web page that I've saved before. In this case, I've saved a page from Safari in my favourites. So I click on the compass, I click on Safari, and I navigate through to that page that I've saved in my favourites and just click on it. And you can see that all students now have that web page open. Just a word of caution on this. If I click on here and show you again, you'll notice at the bottom here it says lock in app after opening, which is great because you can lock them in Safari, but you cannot lock them on a page, so they will still be able to move around in Safari, so just be aware of that. And then finally the stack of books up here, if I click on that to open, I can open an app on a student device, and I can make sure that they stay in that app after I've opened it. So for example, I might open up Word and I can force them to stay on Word for an extended period of time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes if they were doing some work in there. Okay, I must have the app on my device, they must have the app on their device. And just for a demonstration, I'm going to click on Lock in App after opening and then click on Maps. And you'll see that the application that we were using to start with was closed, and the Maps is opened, and you can see that I've locked them in that app, and that's why you've got the little padlock up there. If I want to give them control back, I need to go back up, click on the three dots and click unlock, and eventually this will happen, and you can see, and then I click done and I'm back to be able to work however I want to. Like I've said before, I'm able to control individual students just like I can for the rest of the class. By selecting that student iPad, I have a series of controls down here. One of the ones I like to use is view screen. I can use this to see what they are doing, or I could use it to put their work on display for everyone else to see. So if I click view screen, I get a much bigger view of that particular iPad and what's happening. And if they were working, I would see what they were doing, and if we were projecting, then the rest of the class would see that as well. When I finish, I just click done, click back into the area here, and I'm back. As I've mentioned previously, I'm able to set up groups in Apple Classroom. I can do this during a lesson, I can do it prior to a lesson, and any group that I create will stay there until I delete it or edit it. It's really simple to create a group. If I move down here into the information pane and select new group, give the group a name. Obviously be careful if you're projecting. For this one we're just going to type in GGG and then click OK. It takes me back to my classroom and it asks me what pupils I want to be in to that classroom. So it's just a matter of selecting the ones that you want to be in that group and then clicking done. You can see here now under the groups I've got my 5G group, and up here I've got my class, and you see I can move between them. So I can, if I want to, use the controls that are available to me to work with this particular group. So for this instance I'm just going to lock their devices. If I now go back into all students, you can see that these are the students I've locked devices. You can see it on the information pane here. If I go back up to this area here and click unlock, you can see that they're all back in again. Similarly, if I click on this particular group here, I can open an app in that group, and so in my class here, okay, I've got people who aren't in that group, and I've also got the group here, and again back to the group there, and I'm able to work with them. So just to recap on that, you click on new group, you give the group a name, click OK, choose the students you want to be into that group, from your main class, click done, and now you can see I've got the groups here. If I click edit and then onto the three dots, I'm given these options, so I can delete a group if I want to, can rename it, duplicate it, and students can be in more than one group. If I just get rid of it now, just click on delete, and then we're back to the main one, and then click done. Teams will be the main way that you will give work to students and set up resources for a lesson. But if you want to do something quickly, say for example with a web page or a document, you can use AirDrop, and you can AirDrop that. And the good thing about Apple Classroom is it keeps everything in one place for you. So for example, if I wanted to go to a website that I'd found and quickly wanted to send it to a group of individuals or the whole class, I just need to go into Safari, find the page I want to, and then using the share button up the top here, if I click on the share button, you will see it gives me the ability to AirDrop. If I click on AirDrop, then you can see that I've got my whole class here and then the group that I've set up here. If I click on that group there, you see it's been sent to them. If I quickly go back into Apple Classroom, you can see that those students that are in that group have got that page. I can also use the AirDrop facility to send out documents to students. Like I said before, Teams should be the main way that you get work to students, but if it was something, a little bit of extension work or something like that, you could AirDrop some students a small file. Don't choose something big like a massive PowerPoint with loads and loads of animations, etc. And you can do that via the OneDrive app. So if I just quickly go onto OneDrive, click into OneDrive, navigate to where I know that my file is, click on the three dots here and click on share. Normally we'd put the name in here and then we'd email it to them, but if I go down to the bottom here, you can see that it says send a copy, and if I click send a copy, it's going to give me the option to AirDrop. So if I click on AirDrop, choose the students I want to send that to, and click them. They're going to send it to them, they need to accept it, and it will open up in an app that they choose. The final thing I'd like to show you is how you end your Apple Classroom session. So if I go back up to the three dots and click on the three dots, if you can see down here, it gives me the option to end the class. So if I click on end class, what it does is it produces a little report for me, and it shows me all the apps that have been used in my lesson, and then if I may want to, I can see what individual was using what apps when. It's not my lesson, but it's the session of Apple Classroom that I'm looking at. So if I've used it for 10 minutes, this area down here will be for 10 minutes. If I want to see if what students have been using photos, if I click on photos, it shows me when those students were in that particular app during the Apple Classroom session. The one thing I need to say about this is it's not stored or saved anywhere. So if you were going to use it, you'd need to take a screenshot of a particular student, and you could attach that to behaviour or whatever you might want to do, but it's not stored, so you need to do that just the once. When you go back, it won't be there. Hopefully that's given you a quick recap if you've come to my sessions, or an introduction if you haven't, on how to use Apple Classroom.